What's up everyone, it's Vivi, and yes, we are back to some Sly Cooper. Let's talk about the TV show a bit. Something in particular. I want to say something. Is it fair to start talking about the show? Even just for a little bit. I did read your comments on our previous video where I talked about Season 1 premiering in October 2019. Judging from your comments, you guys enjoy me talking about the TV show. I mean, it's great and all, but I try not to overdo it as well. That's my number one concern. I don't want to overdo it and have you guys expect too much in the end, because you never know, everything might end up being a disappointment. I don't want to do that. But yes, I'll talk about the show, but when it's necessary, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so what pushed me to bring this subject to your attention? The length of episodes. Some in that comment section quickly brought up, but dude, sure it's 11 minutes, 52 episodes of 11 minutes each. It sounds short, okay, but it's doable. Why? Because you guys brought up Steven Universe. That's why. A show targeted for kids mainly. I'm not concerned about the age range for Sly Cooper. It was the 11 minutes thing. But thinking about it more, I told myself, okay, it could work. Steven Universe. I am gonna talk about Steven Universe a lot, by the way, you know, for comparison reasons. The depth of certain themes in that show is what intrigued grown-ups. Sure, it's targeted for kids, but you know, some situations, some conflicts character faced in that TV show, that's what made it intriguing for both audiences. Sly Cooper, as all of you pointed out, really fits as a TV show, and I agree. And why is that? Because it's episodic. Episode 1, Episode 2 focusing on a certain member. I was worried that Technicolor would rush the episodes due to the small length, like what can they fit in 11 minutes? Especially considering the fact that it's not continuation we're looking at. It hasn't been confirmed, I'm just saying. That was my main worry. How are you gonna dive into something serious only within 11 minutes? Sure, they can dive into something different each time, 11 minutes, like individual character conflicts, one episode of 11 minutes dedicated to one character's background. But as I said, I thought about it a little and it could work. Why are they following this format? 52 episodes of 11 minutes. That's a lot of episodes, and yes, they could explore a lot, actually. This was this decision was made either by the network or from the team itself from the get-go. 11 minutes tends to be the format for more comedic shows, cartoons. And why? Why is that? What happened to the old traditional thing, 22 minutes? I'm gonna use Cartoon Network as an example, alright? Higher ratings maybe? I wouldn't say that. But Cartoon Network these days are leaning more towards comedic shows, from what I've noticed, and that's why people are saying Cartoon Network is gonna die. Sure, Sly Cooper is episodic, but each episode was progression, not self-contained. Sure, each episode focused on a different character, but if you look at the character development part, what they went through, what they experienced, went with them on their journey. Back in the day, shows like Ed, Edd n Eddy, they were self-contained, 22 minutes, and purely comedic. Self-contained, nothing to do with like a serious plot. Was there even a plot? Back then, we had the old Powerpuff Girls as well, which was action and comedy, also 22 minutes. Ben 10 series, don't forget, 22. But these days, Cartoon Network is leaning more towards comedy. No plot. Overall, self-contained episodes. Example, Sonic Boom. We're looking at the same team that's gonna work on Sly Cooper, by the way. Talking about comedy, Technicolor's website says comedy, but don't worry, over on PGS it says comedy as well, but adventure is also included. At least there's the word adventure, alright? Comedy, yes, there is humor in Sly Cooper. I am expecting to have some comedic moments, of course, but I want a perfect balance. I don't want the show to rely too much on humor. That's not the nature of the series. And I'm pretty sure that's what you guys are thinking about right now. You don't want the show to rely too much on comedy. Okay, so hold up. Comedy equals 11 minutes these days, correct? Is that why they went with 11 minutes for Sly Cooper, because it says comedy? I wouldn't say that. Is it cheaper to produce? Is that why they went with 11 minutes? Sure, it's less work, less lengthy episodes, 11 minutes, faster, less of a hassle, but you're still producing 2 episodes. Combine them, that equals 22 minutes. I think it has to do more with labor, the number of people involved. What's easier? Tell me. Making one plot for an 11-minute episode, or making a plot and expanding it to 22 minutes by adding additional material, which is probably unnecessary. Tell me, which one sounds easier to you? Steven Universe and Adventure Time, let's go with these two. They're both storyboard driven, and they are 11 minutes. Storyboard. Yes, this series does have some plot in it. If let's say you were to introduce this show to someone, I don't think you would tell them, hey, just watch this episode, it's great. Okay, there are maybe a couple of standalone, self-contained episodes in the Steven Universe series, but overall, Steven Universe, I think one would tell you you have to watch the whole thing. Although not script-driven, it's storyboard, and yet people will tell you, I recommend watching the whole thing if you want to really get into the series. I mean, this is just me, I could be wrong. Storyboard artist and supervising director of Steven Universe, by the way, said something about the whole 11 minutes and 22 minutes. Joe Johnston said this as a reply back in 2015. Steven Universe, Adventure Time, regular show are all storyboard-driven shows, meaning the board artists are each allowed to let their personal vision and taste show in each episode. This is how Rebecca, by the way, Rebecca is an artist, if you're wondering, worked on Adventure Time, and it's a practice that she advocates vigorously. It allows the storyboard artists to really be an artist and preserve their ideas and intent as a filmmaker. I don't mean to sound like I'm bashing writers and script-driven shows, I'm not. There are a myriad of examples of great script-driven shows, both 22 and 11 minutes long. For Steven Universe, however, Rebecca wanted a board-driven show, so 11 minutes is perfect for us. 11 minutes gives us more episodes, thus more plots and themes for us to explore. So what did I just read to you? 11-minute episodes, according to this guy. We're using this guy as an example. 11 minutes allows storyboard artists to express even more. 11-minute episodes, according to this guy, equals to more plot and themes, which I agree. 11 minutes for a different plot, you have more episodes, more plots overall. I mean, how many baddies do we have in Sly Cooper? A lot of them. That's a lot of plot. I could see them explore each member perhaps individually, or maybe put 2 in one episode, we don't know. Like members from the Claw Gang, the Fiendish Five, I am expecting the show to explore elements of the game series. Each episode consisting of course, 11 minutes. That last paragraph, it's very true. Reminds me of, let's say, anime filler, unnecessary filler. You have such a small story, you would have to expand it to 22 minutes by adding more, perhaps, as I said before, unnecessary material. Like, you're gonna get bored and gonna wonder, when is this show gonna progress? I'm not saying this confirms what Sly Cooper is gonna be about, whether it's storyboard or script-driven. I mean, these are technical words, yes, but there's a slight difference between the two. Steven Universe itself does have some plot. Well, according to what I've been reading, people feel like it's pretty slow in the beginning, you know, introducing characters and stuff like that. I am also expecting Sly Cooper to introduce characters, of course. Sly with this 11 minutes format, I believe, will follow the same thing as Steven Universe, perhaps. Some episodes will introduce characters, go over backgrounds, stuff the current game series didn't do. So what is the main difference between a board-driven show and script-driven? From what I understand, script-driven means a writer, you know, writes a script, of course, and hands it over to the artists. Hey, here's the script, I want you to draw me a bunch of pictures and show me character interactions. No, well, expressions. As for a storyboard-driven case, artists have creative freedom. They can take charge, they can add their own dialogue to their piece of art. The writer, in this case, would just give you an outline, like a list of ideas. Here you go, do some drawings, make the characters expressive, add some dialogue, try and imagine things. I read some stuff today. Apparently there's this artist versus writer feud. It's happened in the past among some people working on shows, you know. And what does this mean? Artist versus writer feud. The writer believes everything comes from writing. Imagination and everything, what the show is supposed to be. Artists may believe the opposite. No, it's not all from the writing. It's thanks to our drawings and imagination as well. So allow us to have a deep involvement in this as well. I mean, they are involved, they're drawing, right? But I'm talking about, like, the story. So it all comes down to this. Is Sly Cooper going to be storyboard driven or script related? Looking at the modern cartoons today, 11 minutes each, they tend to focus on more storyboard type of writing. They don't want to follow the traditional method of, you know, writing a script and working off that script. But there is one good thing out of this. about the 11 minutes thing? Less commercial breaks. 22 minutes episodes, traditionally you would have 8 minutes of commercials. The breaks might make the viewer get too distracted, lose interest. I'm pretty sure the networks have thought of that as well. As for 11 minutes, less commercial breaks, it is a good thing. That's one thing I forgot to consider when talking about this one aspect in particular. Sly Cooper has a big cast of characters, let's not forget. Will the team explore more of these characters, aka side stories? Side stories, some people call it a B-plot. A plot which is not centered around, let's say, the main character. Something which is the main focus of the show. It moves away, kinda strays away. Kinda reminds us of traditional TV. That's what Gravity Falls, by the way, was pretty much about. 22 minutes, you had plot A, which would focus, on the main plot, and plot B, which would stray away and focus on something else. PGS took down the October 2019 premiere, I did make a video. Let's not worry too much about that right now. The first 26 episodes of Season 1 were planned to begin at that time. Are they going to go with 22 minutes split into 2 or air 11-minute episodes? I'm going with 11 minutes. The second part of Season 1, was planned for summer 2019. If they're gonna go with A and B plot, 2 11 minutes airing, we would have some going back and forth if they were to include side stories. But of course it all depends on the writing. But I'm just bringing up scenarios. Is that something we really want? 2 episodes, one focuses on the plot and the other focuses on another character, going back and forth. It'll be confusing, but as for the idea of having side stories, yes, we do want that. We just want the flow of the show to be great. 11 minutes, alright, sign me up, we want it to be well written. Side stories, for example, important characters, mainly. Carmelita, how she got into Interpol and stuff like that. Talk a bit more about Neela. Maybe they had some sort of friendship in the past, these two, we don't know. I don't know what the show's thinking, but of course the show is gonna have its own universe, so you have to not forget about that. So to wrap up the video, here's what I think. 11 minutes of Sly Cooper airing, okay. The whole thing is gonna focus on Sly's perspective. Yes, introduce side stories, explain backgrounds, but everything is going to involve Sly. Imagine a Carmelita backstory. That's gonna begin with Sly's involvement. Something happens and, Carmelita starts mentioning her past. That's gonna be the center of the show. Sly going through adventures with his pals. I'm expecting to have episodes where the team interacts with other characters and perhaps that's how they dive into their backstories. And 2, I do expect, well, probably not, I don't know, but it'd be a great idea to perhaps have like a 2-part episode, like a special, maybe a finale, encountering Clockwork, diving into his backstory. It'd be great to have more episodes dedicated to that guy. Plus, Steven Universe did have 2-part episodes, a couple, not a lot, but there were a few. But yeah, anyways, I think I've said a lot, guys, and by the way, I do not know how many times I repeated 11 minutes in this video, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. So as usual, do your stuff. If you have concerns, if you disagree with something I said in the video, point it out in the comment section below, and as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.